Good morning everybody and welcome to Tilley Photography's weekly video, which it seems to become just lately. This week I had intended to do another video similar to the last one I did last week with regard to the flooding that we've had around our village and the way that changed the landscape. Now unfortunately, as you'll probably see from these clips, when I went out to film the video, the flooding had got so much worse that every path that I went down to lead to one of the places where I'd normally find some reasonable images which would probably look even better with the flood water, I couldn't actually get down there because the water was so high. It was basically the A1 one side of me, a thin strip of land where the houses were, paths down towards the Trent, all flooded and right back to where virtually you were sort of 10-20 metres down the path, and then you were walking through water, and it soon got really deep. So I had to sort of can that idea. But what I did want to do, because what we've also had sort of the last week, it started to get a lot colder and we've had some wind, and what that tends to do is it forces a lot of the leaves off the trees, so we really are sort of the back end of the autumn colour at the minute. And because of that, I thought, well, I'll try and see if I can get another video done with some autumn colour in the woodland. Maybe this week there may not be so much of the trees with the leaves on it. Obviously what happens, the leaves fall off the trees, they fall on the floor and they give you a carpet of colour. It might be more sort of intimate woodland landscapes. There has been a lot of fungi around, so I might be able to make some images with the the wonderful colours and then sort of fungi as well mixed into there to try and make a composition. I've already had one shot this morning on the way here, and that's literally again down to the flooding. Because there's so many roads closed, I had to come a different way to get to this woodland, which is one of my local ones. It's only a few miles away. But I had to go down a road that I hadn't been down for a while because the other road was shut. And on that road there's an old barn, and as I drove past it I noticed that there was a little owl in the barn. Now I've seen them there before, so I stopped quickly. I got this shot this morning, so I'm really pleased with that, and I'll probably do some more work with the little owls in the new year when they start breeding again, if they breed in that barn, and hopefully get some more shots. But anyway, on to today's video. We'll crack on, we'll head into the woodland. I've come kitted out my wellies and my gloves because it's freezing, and we'll see what we can do. Hopefully you've realised by watching one or two of my other woodland videos, and I'll put a link up to one up here somewhere, that the major problem is that it is quite a chaotic, well, it's a very chaotic landscape. And in this instance, this part of the woodland that I'm in at the moment is one it's Wildlife Trust woodland, but it's the part that they let manage itself, so they don't do anything in here. They don't do any coppicing or anything. Tree falls down, it just lies there. And I know in some videos I've seen woodland where it looks like there's perfectly straight trees and somebody's been through and swept all the rubbish away, and then they've put a nice carpet of leaves or bluebells down underneath, and that simply doesn't happen round here. It's brambles, it's broken sticks, twigs, fallen trees. It's really hard going, and this is why I think I'm going to be better. I mean, I've bought the macro lens with me because it's so chaotic, focusing on a small detail which might be fungi, and using other elements to bring you into that image. So that's what I'm looking for. I've seen quite a bit of fungi already, but nothing that's really, you know, the thing I've been, you know, really excited to take an image of. Some of it's sort of gone over a little bit, and I think for that sort of detailed photography, if you can, you need to find the best specimens that you can. So it's worth looking around for a bit longer to find that specimen, you know, that hasn't got a bit nibbled out the side of it or anything. So that's what I'm doing at the minute, and I'll catch up with you when I've found a shot. I find a really useful thing to do, and something I'm going to do now. I've come into an attractive area of woodland here. It's fairly open, there's some fallen trees. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my bag down. Now what that means is that I'm immediately limiting myself to where I'm going to go, because I want to be able to I want to see my bag where it is. I don't want to lose it in here. So, you know, probably 20-yard circumference is where I'm going to stick to, and that should force me to look at things in more detail than I am doing while I'm walking through with my bag on, you know, just heading me out in any direction, you know, potentially the easiest path I'm going to take through. Now what I'm doing, I'm stopping and I'm putting an anchor point here and saying, right, this is the area I'm going to work. Because in reality, with a macro lens, you know, you should, in theory, be able to spend all day in a 20-yard square area or a 20-meter square area.
I found my heart again. You were standing there, you bravely let me in. I could wait 1,000,000 years or more.
Right, I do have a tip for you now. This will be my second tip today, so I'm doing well. If you remember the tip about putting your bag down so that you can concentrate on one particular area rather than meandering round, which is what you can tend to do. This tip's a piece of kit. It's a piece of relatively cheap kit, very cheap as far as photography goes, and that's always carry a ground sheet with you. I don't know if you saw when I was doing that macro clip, I've got quite a heavy duty ground sheet that I carry with me, and it's got a multitude of uses. Obviously there I'm using it because I'm lying on the floor and it's completely saturated, keeps me dry. So if you're doing a full day's photography and you're having to do a shot where you're lying down, beginning of the day, you're going to be wet through all day. That prevents that. But it also, even if you just take it out and you're having your lunch somewhere, you can use it to sit on. It can be a shelter if you're up somewhere and you get caught out. You can make a reasonable shelter out of it as well. So that'd be a tip from me. Number 2 today, so you're doing well, is get yourself a ground sheet. Right, I found another fungi shot here, and it's pretty similar to the other one. This time I've got a colony. The only thing that I don't like about it is there's one of the very front pieces of fungi has got a little chunk out of it, which is it's not really 100% perfect, but other than that I really like the shot. So I'll show you what it is, and I've got a nice clear background. I've got the potential to improve the image a little bit by doing a little bit of gardening. But I mean, it's on this incredible tree. I mean, if you look at this, I mean, look at that. It's just absolutely incredible. And the fungi I'm talking about are just there. Right, in the end I wandered around this wonderful fallen tree about 10 times, and it's got some just, I mean, you can see yourself these beautiful lines it's got, but I just couldn't find the piece of fungi that I liked in the right place. That there were plenty of places I'd like to have been some fungi, but there wasn't any, so I've settled back on my original image really, which is a nice image and I like it. It's pretty similar to the last one, but I think from this side as well, and what I've done is, when I showed you the original image, I was going to shoot it from that side. Now the problem with that is it's got that piece that's nibbled out. This side it hasn't, and I've got a pretty clear background as well. So what I'm going to do is set up on this side and see if I can get the shot. I think that's the end of this week's video. I think it's probably going to end up being quite a short one, but necessity really. It was really difficult to get out actually in the car somewhere that wasn't flooded and get a video done at all. So I'm pleased to get out and actually do something. Quite pleased with the images. Quite pleased to see the little owl first thing this morning and get a shot of that. That's something I might work on in the future. As regards wildlife, I'd just be interested if you can put in the comments below if you would be interested to see the occasional wildlife vlog, and it would be occasional, but sometimes I do come across things that potentially are worth vlogging, like fox cubs or badger sets. So I'd just be interested to know, is that something you'd be interested in watching? Other than that, please subscribe to the channel, give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next week, which is probably going to be up at Seaham on the northeast coast, and maybe Chemical Beach, and I'll do a vlog from there. I've been there and taken images before but never vlogged, so I'll see you next week for that one. Bye.
I found a star in you, always guiding me to where my words are true.